Legends, before we get going on this review, I just want to apologise for the audio in some of the past videos. I have actually just properly listened to some of the audio from previous reviews, and it's not good. So until I get the audio situation sorted out here properly, get a better microphone, I'm just going to have to go with the little mic on the webcam for now. So hopefully this audio is a lot crisper and tidier than that last debacle in the last few episodes. So let's get into our Laurel and Hardy review in this episode. Legends, welcome along to Coins Age Media. This is the review show. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. Now, I was just looking through the back catalogue of stuff that I've got on the channel here, and I was intending to get into the Star Wars prequel trilogy tonight, but I noticed that Laurel and Hardy hasn't been done for a while, and I really need to get ahead on these reviews. So this episode is going to be Swiss Miss from 1938. And in this feature-length film, Stan and Ollie are mousetrap salesmen, and Stanley has come up with the bright idea of going to Switzerland because cheese is made there, and where cheese is made, the mice are going to come, and we're going to be millionaires. So off they go. They arrive in Switzerland and try to sell their mousetraps. So they go to this cheese shop and they're doing their pitch, and there's a good bit of slapstick in here. That's a really good sequence of them trying to sell the mouse traps at the beginning of this movie. But the owner of the shop has cottoned on to what he's going to do to them. At one point, he was snookered by some salesman somewhere along the line and ended up in possession of a heck of a lot of counterfeit money. So he decides, okay, I'm going to buy these pair out of their business and give them this fake cash. Pure businessman. So he does that, buys them out. They're living big, they're living rich. They think they've made it. And they go to a hotel nearby and celebrate with a slap-up dinner. Order everything they can, the cigars, the whole 9 yards. But when it comes time to pay the bill, of course, all the money they've got in the world is now counterfeit money, and they end up being put to work in the hotel to pay off their bill, and they end up at there's a thing that happens in a few Laurel and Hardy movies. There's a chef somewhere along the line in the movies, and they come to loggerheads with this guy, and there is a variation of that in this movie. They end up having to work for the chef in the hotel, and he's going to put them to work, and he's writing up like a tally on a blackboard. This is how many days you're going to have to work to pay off your bill, and this line just a chalk line, 1, 2, 3, 4. This just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, and throughout the film, Stan and Ollie are trying their best to erase the number of days on the blackboard. A lot of funny sequences of doing that. There's a few parts of this movie, if you have seen any compilation videos of Laurel and Hardy, there'll be a lot of stuff in this movie that jumps out to you. One in particular is a sequence where Stanley is plucking chickens for the dinners, and he's out in the backyard of the hotel, and there's a Saint Bernard dog with the rum keg around its neck, and they're trained to help people that's got stranded in snow, and no one has got any hope of getting these rum jars from around the dog's neck unless they're in actual moral peril. Actual, mortal peril is what I wanted to say there. So Stanley is trying his best to work out a way of getting this keg off the dog's neck. This sequence is absolutely brilliant, and the stuff that he tries to do to get around this dog and eventually manages it. The second sequence that sticks out in this movie is, there's a bigger picture, and Stan and Ollie movies, I'm say, Laurel and Hardy movies, and the feature-length ones, there's usually a bigger story happening. Laurel and Hardy have their own little piece within this bigger picture thing. And in this one, there is a famous composer in the hotel. He's there kind of undercover to try and get peace to, come up with a new masterpiece. So he's constantly trying to write music, and he's not getting peace to do it. And there's a sequence in here where Stan and Ollie are ordered to take his piano from the hotel up the mountain to like a tree house where he can get peace to compose. Now the only problem is this tree house is on the other side of a ravine, and the only way to get there is over a little rickety rope bridge. And this happens basically after the sequence of the St. Bernard dogs. So Stanley at this point in the movie is absolutely drunk, like so rubbered, like off his trolley. So him trying to move a piano and get it across a rope bridge is just trouble waiting to happen. This sequence ends off with Stan and Ollie this piano on the middle of this rope bridge above like a 250-300 foot drop below them, and a gorilla winds up on the rope bridge with them, and it starts to sway and swing the bridge, and Stan and Ollie eventually manage to get off the bridge just in time as the ropes snap and the bridge, the piano and the gorilla fall 300 feet. Now it kind of stuck out to me a little bit in this one here. It's like, it's a Laurel and Hardy movie, this is a bit graphic for their movies, and usually you see people getting slapstick hurt in the movie, but a gorilla falling 300 feet to basically its death is what you're thinking at this point. Kind of feels a little bit out of place, but spoilers, you get to meet this gorilla again before the movie's over, and it's so well crafted that by the time he turns up again, you've kind of put that memory into the background somewhere, and when he does turn up, it's an actual surprise. In the last closing seconds of the movie, this gorilla turns up again, and it is absolutely hilarious the way they close this movie out. Now, as far as what everything else that's going on in the movie, the composer that's there, his wife turns up in the film, Greta Natzler, I want to say her name is, I've probably butchered that completely, and Walter Woolf as the composer. He is obsessed with getting his new masterpiece, and she's a singer as well. This film, like a lot of the Laurel and Hardy feature-length movies, is a bit of a musical. There's some musical numbers on there as well. So she sings and he sings, and her character in this movie, basically, she kind of feels left out because he's obsessed with his music. So she is constantly trying to make him jealous by flirting with everybody else in the hotel, including Ollie, who falls in love with her and decides to, serenade her by moonlight underneath her window at one point in the movie. And again with the chef from earlier on, they end up at loggerheads once again because the chef has also fell in love with her. So she's basically, every time she meets someone in the movie, she's kind of, do you think I'm pretty? Do you think I'm beautiful? Starts batting eyelids at them, and she's just an absolutely awful person. And, the character, I just didn't like her in this movie. And it's not to take anything away from the actress. She's a fine actress, stunningly beautiful woman, but just that attitude of, I'm just going to play everybody against each other just to make the husband jealous. At the end of the day, if I was the husband, I would just like, hey, we're getting divorced, pet. None of this messing about here. If you want to start, playing me off against our guys, you can just slide on with them. So, yes, I'm starting to get a bit of a fuddy-duddy in my old age. But this movie is actually great. You know, as far as laughs go, and it's compared to everything else that Laurel and Hardy's done, the laughs are a little bit thinly spread throughout this movie. But, you know, when the comedy moments happen, they're absolute gold. And this is definitely one that you need to check out if you want to be a completist of Laurel and Hardy. But, you know, as good as the film is, I don't think it's one of their best ones, but it is well worth checking out.